Hi everyone, Kyle here. I want to do something a little different. I wanted to kind of go through and start doing lyrical analysis of different songs, and just kind of giving my own opinion on them, and what I think different parts mean, and what different themings and whatever else in the songs may be. So three kind of important things to keep in mind. One, these are my opinions. Very subjective. I mean, art is very subjective in terms of interpretations. So do not take what I say as, this is what they meant. The songwriter could mean something entirely different than what I'm saying. These are just what I think. These are just the things that I think. Two, I want to stay away from outside sources. I want to stay away from what the songwriter says. Any outside information unless it's entirely pertinent. But on the whole, I'm going to stay away from that. And three, views that I get from the songs, what I interpret it to mean, aren't necessarily what I believe. And they, I'm not going to say they're not what I believe, and I'm not going to say they are what I believe. It's, it could be either or. But that being said, let's take a lyrical look at Belief by John Mayer. Such a great song. Okay, so let's start. Is there anyone who ever remembers changing their mind from the paint on a sign? Is there anyone who really recalls ever breaking rank at all for something someone yelled real loud one time? So, I think John Mayer is trying to kind of put criticism on people, or just as humanity as a general statement, kind of how strong are our convictions and our beliefs if we can be swayed so easily. If you believe something really strongly, and you should believe something because you thought it over and you mulled it over, and you let it digest in your brain, but then someone just shows you a sign, you're like, you know what, I don't believe what I believe anymore. Then you really didn't believe what you believed in the first place. You just kind of thought you believed it, but if you could be swayed so easily, you didn't really think about what you thought. And this kind of speaks to the idea of we all kind of go with groupthink. We all kind of go with the grain. We don't go against the grain, rather, so we can avoid conflict, so we can avoid confrontation. And it's kind of a criticism he's placing on people, where it's like, listen, if you believe in something, that's great, but you have to believe in it. You can't just be easily swayed away from it. Otherwise, that's just you have no convictions. Anyway. Next part. Oh, everyone believes, and how they think it ought to be. Oh, everyone believes, and they're not going easily. And saying, I think he's doing the oh, everyone believes, very sarcastic, oh, everyone believes. And so, we all think, when he says, and how we think it ought to be, we all think we all know what the world deserves, or what the world needs, or whatever it may be. We all think oh, if the world would, if I ran the world, there'd be no hunger, there'd be no this, no that, because we do this and this and this. We all like to think we have the answers. And we really don't. We all think we have the answers, and, some answers are probably better than others, but none of us can solve all the problems of the world, because we don't know how to solve them. We all have very limited perspectives, we all have very limited intelligence, because we're people, we're humans, we're flawed, we're by nature not going to have all the answers. But that's fine, and I think the problem is we don't acknowledge that. We don't acknowledge that we might not have all the answers. We're very arrogant with our beliefs. And I think, again, that's another criticism John Mayer's kind of placing on humanity. And when he's saying, and they're not going easily, I think he's talking about people who just refuse to acknowledge that fact that, they don't have the answers. They're just I believe this, I believe that, this is how it ought to be, and I'm gonna fix the world. And it seems a little contradictory to the first part of the song, the first part of the verse. But I think it kind of goes to the other extreme, where people who are strong in their convictions, but they haven't thought them out. So they believe in them in the sense that they're strong in their convictions, but they don't believe in the fact that they haven't thought them out. So it's kind of a different facet of the first problem, rather. Alright, so we're going to the next part. Excuse me. Belief is a beautiful armor. but makes for the heaviest sword. Like punching underwater, you never can hit who you're trying for. So belief, belief is something that can carry you through your darkest days. It can, it can make the worst situations a lot better if you believe there's something better out there. If you think there's a better place to be, greener pastures. If you believe that and you strive for that, that can get you out of that dark place. And that that's why it's beautiful, because it protects you. It's beautiful armor, and keeps you going and keeps you with your chin held up high, because you believe there's something better out there for you. Where it says it makes for the heaviest sword, it's saying like when you try and I think what it means is that when you try and push your beliefs on other people, whether in a good way or in a bad way, it doesn't matter. It's very difficult because we all believe what we believe, and we're not necessarily going to be receptive to people's beliefs, especially if they're contradictory to ours. And so it's a heavy sword, so it's hard to swing it around. It's hard to get around. Which ties into the next part where, like punching underwater, you never can hit who you're trying for. If you're swinging a 100-ton sword that you can't even get off the ground, and you're kind of like, well, I don't know how anyone could even drag a 100-ton sword. Okay, we'll say a 100-pound sword. And so you can barely, get it, a centimeter off the ground if you're really weak. Or, I can't really come up with a good measurement of weight. Whatever. A heavy sword, you try and get it off the ground, and, you're swinging it really slowly. Someone's just going to step out of the way. They're just going to move back, or they're going to just, step over it, or, you won't hit them with it. And same thing with beliefs. If it's, people are going to just naturally avoid beliefs, especially if it contradicts their own, already thought-out worldview, or not thought-out worldview. Some need the exhibition, and some have to know they've tried. It's a chemical weapon for the war that's raging on inside. So we all like to think that, we give our best, and we've done our best on a daily basis. And, if we do our best, we can sit down. Now, a lot of people can't. Either they don't give their best, or they give their best, but they still feel they can give more. And it kind of feeds into our own internal struggles. It feeds into our either our self-doubt, our inability to not settle, but be content with what we have, and it kind of drives us both positively and negatively to, potentially do bad things or do potentially good things. Everyone believes, from emptiness to everything. Everyone believes, and no one's going quietly. So from emptiness to everything, just kind of explaining the whole spectrum of things that we can believe in. It doesn't matter if you think you don't believe in anything, you believe in something. Even if you believe that there's nothing to believe in, that is a belief in and of itself. Or, you believe that everything, has a purpose or something like that. Whatever your belief is, we all have beliefs, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. And no one's going quietly and saying that we're all, saying our opinions. We're all going to say our beliefs and, yell them at each other and shout them from the rooftops. I believe this, I believe that. And so, no one's going to stop saying what they believe. We're never going to win the world. We're never going to stop the war. We're never going to beat this if belief is what we're fighting for. So this is an interesting part. So I think he's saying that, you're never going to get anyone to agree with you or, to see what you see if all you do is just tell them, this is what I believe, this is what I believe. If just the belief is what you're fighting for, if what's your belief is what you're fighting for, your belief may not necessarily be right. Your belief might be, wrong, and someone else's belief might be right. And the whole idea, I think, is that you can't live with the notion that you're always right. That, it's good to have the conviction that, your belief is right, but if you can't accept the idea that maybe you're wrong, you're never going to get anywhere. Is there anyone who you can remember who ever surrendered with their life on the line? I think this is a statement on kind of how strong are your convictions really? How strong are your beliefs? Are you willing to die on the hill for your beliefs? And if you're not, is it something you really believe in? Obviously there are some things that maybe you're not willing to die on the hill for, believing, I love vanilla Coke, and if someone came in here and said, oh, sorry, computer's being weird, and then someone came in and was like, if you don't stop liking vanilla Coke, I'm gonna kill you. Or, I'm sorry, if you keep liking vanilla Coke, I'm gonna kill you. I'm giving a vanilla Coke then. I don't like it that much. It's not worth my life. Then it repeats the "we're never gonna win the world" part. Okay, and so the last part. What puts 100,000 children in the sand? Belief can. Belief can. So this is where I think this song is specifically kind of talking about the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. So this song came out on his album Continuum, which came out around the mid-2000s. And, you know, it was, especially, you know, in the, in, like, Hollywood and, you know, in, whatchamacallit, and, you know, certain parts of the music industry, and just entertainment and media in general, it was a highly criticized war, and it was, you know, a fairly controversial war. Some people didn't believe we needed to be involved. Some people think we had an overextended response. You know, there's a lot of arguments about it. And so I think John Mayer's saying, like, the belief that we needed to be involved in that war, the beliefs that are surrounding that war with, extremism and other such things, they cost, you know, children, really, people, you know, as young as 18, to be dropped off in the sand in the war. And the last line of the song, what puts the folded flag inside his mother's hand? Belief can. Belief can. For those of you who don't know, that kind of alludes to military funerals. And so basically, at a military funeral, a folded flag is given to, I believe it's only a military funeral. It might be at other things too. Unfortunately, I've never had to go to a military funeral, fortunately. But, you know, the spouse or the husband, or husband is the spouse, the spouse or the father or the mother will receive a folded flag. You know, it's just kind of like an honor thing, you know, to symbolize, you know, the commitment that they made to, you know, the United States and, you know, the respect that the country has for, you know, that person. And John Mayer's saying, like, this is the beliefs that these people, you know, that are sending these children to war, they are causing them to die. And, you know, that's wrong. That's what he's saying. Like, it's wrong that these children are dying. And, you know, just kind of go to summarize everything. I think John Mayer's just making a poignant point about how, you know, belief can be a great thing, and, you know, but you can't just have, you know, bumper sticker beliefs. You can't just believe something because you read it one time. You have to really have firm convictions, and if you have firm convictions without, you know, knowing what you're talking about, it can be very dangerous, and it can lead to people, you know, dying. And, you know, that's just, you have to know what you're talking about, and if you believe something's wrong, you have to say it's wrong, and you can't, you know, just give up your beliefs because it's, you know, the easier thing to do. You know, how strong are your beliefs, and if they're not strong, are you really willing to give them up? You know, like, going back to what I was saying before, you know, like, I'm not gonna die for my beliefs of vanilla Coke, but I'm going to die for my beliefs of, you know, my family or, you know, of my friends. Like, I would gladly, you know, die in the hill for those. But, you know, that's all just my own opinion and this lyrical look. Please leave in the comments below your interpretations of the song and other songs you want me to cover.